20 seconds left until he starts streaming. I can't believe it. Hi. Yeah, I'm back. I went away for a while and I stopped streaming for a bit. But there was a good reason. Okay, there were a few good reasons. Good reason number one for why I haven't been streaming. I forgot. Good reason number two. I didn't have internet for 2 days. But it got fixed earlier, so now I may do the live streaming. Yeah. This is me. I'm a fun Roo, I think. Here, I'm going to say hello to you. Hello. Hey. Who's this? What is this thing? Oh, I'm just going to use it to say hi. Hello. Okay, how do I reset it? Go back to 0, please. This program's a bit... The program that I used to pose the model is a bit finicky. I can do this and all of that. But then it's like... If I want to control other settings, it's like a bit difficult. But here, why don't I sit down? Whoa. Epic. Here, I will say hello in this manner. Hello. Yeah. Now I stand up again. I'm literally just floating. Look at me. So what have I been doing? Good question. That's always a good question to ask. One thing that I did was on Saturday, I got a new cartridge for my turntable that lets me play 78 RPM records. I'd had a regular cartridge that lets me play normal, like LPs and 45s for years, but I've never had a proper 78 RPM cartridge until now. So I finally got one, and I'm finally able to play all the 78s I have, which is a lot. I legitimately have like 100 of them, and I wasn't able to play any of them, or most of them, until a few days ago. So it's been kind of fun going through all of those, seeing what all is in there. And in fact, during this stream, I think I'm going to show off some of the more interesting things that I found. And that, in turn, got me thinking about just the history of sound recording. So I'm going to look at some early sound recordings on top of all of that. You know me, I go on tangents. And this is a tangent that I went on. Yeah. What else? I didn't talk about this the last time I streamed because it was the day before it came out, but yeah, as you can tell by the background, New Boards of Canada album came out, and I really liked it. I won't say it's my favorite, but I did get the vinyl, and the vinyl's awesome. It's on red vinyl, and it came with a book of pictures and a bonus flexi disc, and it was really cool to look at and really cool to listen to. I enjoyed it a lot. It's different, but at the same time, it's not like a bad different. You know what I mean? I hope you know what I mean. Yeah. Look at me. I'm such a friend. I think I am such a friend. Would you agree? I hope so. So, what else? Started taking a higher dose of methylphenidate a few days ago. Is it helping? Maybe, I hope. I don't feel that much different. I was gonna look in my notes for stuff, and then I realized if I leave the YouTube app, then it's gonna lag. Because I don't have the chat on my computer, I have the chat on my phone. So that's where I'm reading the chat. And this is where it happens. Yeah. I'm actually just trying to think, like, what have I been doing? If I was more of a hands-on streamer, literally, I'd show some things that I've been making. I'm trying to get into sculpting. I have clay. I don't use it very much, but I am trying to sculpt something out of clay. And that thing I'm trying to sculpt is this boy right here. Actually, no, that's the wrong boy. This is the boy. It is very specifically my right foot. And it is coming along. It certainly looks like this. That's how it looks. Perhaps one day I will sculpt my entire self. But that may take a long time. But you never know. Well, I think without any further ado... Wait, where am I? God damn it. Where am I? There I am. Yeah. I forgot I had to change, like, a bunch of my settings to do the vinyl stream. But now that I'm not using my phone as the way to read the chat, as the camera, I can use it to read the chat. And that is what I'm doing. Here, I'm going to turn slightly sideways. Whoa. Epic. So what was I looking at? So I listened to this earlier today. I have 10 million other things I need to listen to, but for some reason I chose the second annual report by Throbbing Gristle. I guess just because I've been thinking a little bit more about Genesis Peorage recently. They're pretty cool. They were pretty cool. But this was the Throbbing Gristle's first, like, released album. Okay, first, like, full released album. And it is alright. I liked the second side. It is titled The Original Soundtrack of the Cum Transmissions Film of After Cease to Exist. And it is a music album. It was one of the first industrial albums to come out. Not the first, but one of the first. Apparently, this was the first industrial album. It was by Cluster, but not that Cluster. This Cluster. Cluster with a K, not Cluster with a C. But it did have Hans Joachim Rodelius and Dieter Mobius in it, who were the guys from Cluster with a C. But apparently this is the first industrial album. It makes sense that the krautrock guys would be the first to do this type of music. I mean, there's industrial stuff on Noise' first album as well. Like sampled bits of like construction equipment and dark ambient soundscapes. It's pretty interesting. Let's see what else. I started listening to The Fragile by Nine Inch Nails, which is their third album. I'm so sorry for that. I thought I got interrupted. Turned out I didn't. Let's see. Yeah, I started listening to this album. When I say started, I mean I listened to... It's a 2-disc album, and I listened to disc 1. I haven't listened to disc 2 yet, because the day that I was gonna listen to disc 2 was the day our internet crapped out. So, yeah. I will get to it, because obviously I've only heard half the album. But then again, I feel like maybe it's better this way. I think I read on Wikipedia that Trent Reznor himself even said, like, in retrospect, he should have released it as 2 separate things, sort of like Kid A and Amnesiac. But he didn't, and he released it as a 2 CD album. So, I'll listen to the second disc soon. But I liked the first disc a lot. Then again, I only listened to it once, but I did really like it. And Pink Floyd released a new compilation on Friday, which I did listen to. I normally wouldn't have, because it's just a compilation, and I've heard all the songs on it before, except for this one. I think I did mention this on a previous stream. So it's a compilation. It's called 8 Tracks, and it has 8 tracks on it. But it's also a pun because of this last track. Pigs on the Wing is the first track and the last track on the album Animals, which came out in '77. It's a 2-part song that bookends the album. But the thing is, they released that album on the 8-track format, and what they did was they combined both parts into one and linked them with a guitar solo. And that version has never been re-released in any other format until this compilation. I mean, it's a good version. Pigs on the Wing, it's not my favorite Pink Floyd song. In fact, it's my least favorite on Animals. But it's still a charming little acoustic love ballad. And it's awesome to hear that completed version in good quality, because there's 8-track rips on YouTube that you can find. This is the first time it's ever been released on CD or digitally, which is awesome. And Steven Wilson did the editing for it, for the compilation. I don't think he remixed it, but he, like, used, like... Because the whole thing with it is, like... It's like basically every Pink Floyd album where every song flows seamlessly into one another. And so he got access to the multi-tracks and was able to do that with this compilation. And that was his contribution, was editing it together, not any like remixing or remastering. I watched Radiohead's The King of Limbs live from the basement, because I hadn't watched it before. It is good. I always thought The King of Limbs, the album, gets a little bit too much hate. It's not my favorite Radiohead album, but it's also not my least favorite. Some of the tracks in this basement version, I would say, are better than the album versions, and others I would say are not. I think they do the entire album. Yeah, I liked this version of Feral and Little by Little a bit more than the album versions. Codex is a great track, so is Lotus Flower. Daily Mail and Staircase are great. Pretty good version of Morning Mr. Magpie. And really great version of Give Up the Ghost. I think, honestly, a bit better than the album version. It's not listed here, but the version that's on like Apple Music, which is complete, also has a Super Collider as a bonus track at the end. And there was a pretty good version of Super Collider. Oh, and I started listening to this and didn't finish it. It's by Scum, which is scissors for cutting up Merzbow. And it is basically just Merzbow under another name. And it's a noise album with a bit of like rock in it as well, because there's drums and guitar, but it's very noisy because it's friggin' Merzbow. It's in the Merz box set, which if you don't know about, I'll fill you in. The Merz box came out in 2000. If it will load. It is a 50-disc box set with stuff that Merzbow recorded as early as 1979 and as late as 1997. But yeah, 50 CDs. And even then it's incomplete. Dosu says hi. Yeah. As me. I'm being me. I read at some point, I think it's on the Wikipedia article for Merz Box, that I think in like '02 or something, the official Georgia Tech radio station played the entire Merz Box from beginning to end. All 50 discs and all how many hours? Many hours of Merzbow on an actual college radio station that people listen to. I mean, it makes sense for college radio because, you know, it's college radio. The students get to pick what goes on. But, like, even then, that's a pretty bold statement, I guess. But yeah, Steel Come, the thing I was just listening to, that's in there, and that's how I was listening to it. There's also Cloud Kaku Grand. And everyone's favorite music's by Merzbow, like Nil Vagina Tape Loop, and, let's see, Sadomasochismo, and Live in Khabarovsk CCCP, I'm Proud by Rank of the Workers, Stacy Q Hi-Fi Sweet Leaf, Exotic Apple, Space Mix Traveling Band, Remblant Assemblage. There's so many things in this box. I think you can actually still buy them new old stock from Extreme Records. I'm gonna fact check that real quick. Because I did check like 5-ish years ago, and you actually could buy them new old stock. See, if you go here, that's Extreme Music, the label that released it. Yeah, you can still buy these. New old stock from over 25 years ago. Wow. Can you buy the sampler disc? No, you can't. But you can buy the actual box set. You can still buy the box set. And to be clear, it's not a repress. It is new old stock. Like, they still have box sets that they haven't sold yet, and you can buy them for 450 AUD. I think. Is it AUD or USD? Rest of the world, $2. Oh, it's USD. Okay. That's a lot of money, but shipping is only $2 to the United States. What a bargain. You should buy it right now. I'm not. Anyway, I was also looking at, because I've been ripping 78s, I got to thinking a bit about just the history of sound recording. And there's a couple sites that I used to like going on to for learning about this. One was First Sounds, and the other, this is one I just found, honestly, but First Sounds has a lot of stuff on there as well. And Wikipedia, honestly, obviously. First Sounds has an archive of recordings by this guy who basically invented a sound recording device called the phonograph, sorry. The problem with the phonograph was it could only record sound, not play sound back. It would record, you would speak or do whatever into this horn, and it would vibrate a diaphragm, and on this little cylinder, which was hand cranked, would be a piece of paper with soot on it. And as you turned the crank on the cylinder, it would move the paper and scratch away the soot on the paper, leaving an imprint of the groove. But you couldn't play it back, you could only look at it. So that's what it was used for. It was used to be like, okay, so this is what sound looks like. And then Thomas Edison did his thing, and he made a thing that actually plays sounds back. But eventually, this thing was rediscovered, and using computers, we were able to scan them and play them back. For the first time ever. So the earliest sound recordings that we have were made, I think, in 1857. But the earliest sound recording that could be played back, that is able to be played back, is from 1877, I think. There's a recording of it somewhere. It's just called Experimental Talking Clock. That's not it. Proper way to hold a cylinder record. You see, you have two for the pink and one... No, I'm kidding. No, two for the pink. I'm stupid. Fun fact. I bet you didn't know that. What was I looking for? Oh yeah, the experimental talking clock. There it is. That's the complete recording. (1878). Yeah, it's kind of terrifying. What is Bros saying? I'll get to that. Here's the thing. The Wikipedia article says portions of the recording sound in reverse, which raises the possibility that the phonograph may have been cranked counterclockwise during points of the recording. Yeah, I've listened to that a few times. I'm pretty sure that entire rip is backwards. Because I've played it backwards, and you can actually hear him saying just things like 10:30, 10:45, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, etc. So that is what Bro is saying. I I don't think the talking clock ever worked as intended. So, fascinating. For 57 A's. Here's a neat website I found. AmericanHistory.si.edu. Okay, this is from the Smithsonian. That makes sense. It makes sense that the Smithsonian would have these. These aren't the earliest recordings, but they're some of the earliest recordings. Like this one, which was recorded by Alexander Graham Bell in 1885. You know who Alexander Graham Bell is, right? He invented a pretty cool device that let people talk from long distances. It was called the telephone. He invented that, and he also was an early pioneer in sound recording. Here's what his voice sounded like. What is his accent? I thought he was Scottish. Transcription of sound recording in Alexander Graham Bell's handwriting, gift of Alexander Graham Bell. I guess he gave the record to the Smithsonian. Because this is it. That's the recording. It's him counting to like 100 or something like that. And then that's how it ends. That video is just the outro. What is this made of? Wax. Okay. I mean, wax makes sense. That's how they recorded. That's how... I mean, like those Edison cylinders, like these. Look at these things. Those were made of wax. Eventually they moved to being made out of like some kind of hard plastic, but it used to just be brown wax. This is a good music. Oh, this is a fun one. Because it's the earliest recording ever made with the word fuck. Oh, it's making me download it. Thankfully, I already did that, so I'm just gonna play this from Adobe Audition. This is the recording. So yeah, it's kind of terrifying, but at the same time, it's hilarious. The earliest recorded use of the word fuck. Right there. Where is it? Oh, fuck, he says dejectedly as he realizes he messed up the nursery rhyme. I do have the experimental talking clock recording. You know what? I'm gonna play that backwards just to prove that I'm not off my rocker. Here. Those aren't words. Like afternoon, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever. I am not making things up. I would never... No. There's some better pictures on the Smithsonian website, because it's the Smithsonian. They would probably get way better pictures. This is the disc that has the fuck word on it. And what is this? The individual speakers on these recordings are unidentified. Okay, it's glass disc with photographic emulsion. That's interesting. So it was basically they were using light to record. It's technically an optical disc. Wow, who would have guessed that optical disc recording was invented in the 1880s? But yeah, looking at it, it's like, that does make sense. Because these don't look like grooves, these look like pips. Experiment goals show how to record sound with a photographic process. Let's see, we have this one, which looks a mess. I want to know if, like, what the size of this was. Was it like the size of like an actual... How big was it? Sound recording, cardboard disc with layers of plaster and foil. Then we have this brass disc with green wax from 1884. Where is that? This is that. Oh, it's so it's the soliloquy, famous soliloquy from Hamlet. That's what it is. So it's a brass disc covered in green wax. Interesting. And then we have this one, which is also a glass disc with photographic emulsion. Barometer over and over again. Okay, looking at the disc itself, I mean, it looks interesting. That's definitely sound. That is indeed what this looks like. But I think it's interesting that it's... The groove is so big. This looks like a fairly... I don't know how big it is. Again. And then we have binder's board disc coated with wax. And what is that? So it is music. Is that like a trumpet or a cornet or something? And this is another one. This one wasn't on that Smithsonian site, but it's on First Sounds. So this one actually has a long thing. Transcription, that's what the word is. And it's making me download it. I don't want to have to download it to listen to it. And of course, they also have the Edouard Leon Scott de Martinville recordings, which are the phonograph recordings. Where are they? Where are the recordings? Here are sounds. There we go. It's this website uses Flash. Look at this. It's having to load Ruffle in order to play the sound recording. This is the famous one of Au Clair de la Lune. What, the thing that I find interesting about that recording is the fact that we were able to actually properly speed correct it and identify the melody. Because, believe me, I've heard the uncorrected version of that recording. It would have basically been impossible. But the only reason why is because he recorded onto that piece of paper 2 tracks. One was his voice, and the other was a tuning fork, a reference pitch. And given that the year was 1860, it was probably 440 hertz. So that's what that's based on. The tuning fork was at 440 hertz, and it was being recorded at the exact same time as his own voice as a reference. Knowing he couldn't play it back, he just had that as a reference for the speed. And then 150 odd years later, we find that recording and are able to actually listen to it, which is pretty cool. We also have this one. Let's see. Chi crederia che sotto forme umane e sotto queste pastorali spoglie fosso nascosto un dio, non mica un... This phonogram of the opening lines of Torquato Tasso's pastoral drama Aminta from Scott's 1861 deposit with L'Académie des Sciences is the earliest audible record of spoken Italian. It's also just one of the earliest spoken recordings. Here's what that sounded like. Play the recording, damn you. I have to download the MP3. Yeah. Italian sounds like this. Oh, this one's from 1857. No reference pitch, so that's literally the best we can do. Whoa. This is the fun music. Oh, I tried to turn it down a little bit, but it's... ain't no matter. Anyway, I think now I will boot up Adobe Audition. Because I have some things in there that I could show potentially. Yeah. Some of these are records that I've ripped, and others are just stuff that I downloaded. At various points. I don't know if I can play long samples, but I do want to give a comparison for how I was able to rip 78s before I got this new cartridge and after. Because I was able to play them before just using the cartridge that came with my turntable, which was the generic Audio-Technica one. Once I switched to using an Ortophon cartridge, I just had that one be a spare, and I used it to play 78s, because I don't want to use my fancy $130 cartridge to play 78s. but that other cartridge broke. So I've had the order find one, and I haven't had a way to play 78s until Saturday. So just for comparison, this is a recording of a record that I own, which I got with that old setup, ripping it using the cartridge that came with the turntable. So that's the only bit I'll play just because I don't want to super risk copyright, but you'll notice, looking at the spectrogram, these gaps, every time it spins, the needle would kind of leap out of the groove slightly, and you can hear that in this little trumpet bit here. It sounds like dropouts in a tape recording, not something you'd expect from a vinyl record. So anyway, I got that cartridge, and where the hell is it? There it is. Immediately, like, huge difference in the noise level. Here. Needle's not jumping out of the groove this time. It sounds way clearer. And like the frequency range goes up to 10 kilohertz. I mean, this was a 12-inch 78. Most of the 78s I have are 10-inch. But I do have a couple 10-inch ones, this being one of them. Therefore, it's automatically the best sounding 78 I have, or one of them. But it's night and day. So here, I'll give another example. One of the oldest records I have is an excerpt of the opera Aida. This one's in stereo. 78s are in mono. I ripped this in stereo with a stereo cartridge in stereo. I mean, this 78 cartridge I have is also a stereo cartridge, but I use it in mono only, which is really not that big of a problem. But like, again, this is how it sounded in 2021 when I didn't have my new 78 RPM cartridge. You can just hear the needle about to jump out of the groove. And of course, the music is just so in the background. Now, getting the new cartridge didn't fully improve the sound. It still sounds pretty bad because it was recorded acoustically, not electrically. That became more of a common thing starting in the late 1920s and early 1930s. Prior to then, everything had to be recorded acoustically, as in, you would be like... So you know what a gramophone looks like? It's got a gigantic horn on it, and a needle that goes across the record, and the sound comes out of the horn. No electricity required. That is how they would also record things. They would just have like a wax mold, or wax disc or something, maybe lacquer later on, and they would have a gigantic horn attached to that and a diaphragm with a needle at the end, and the band would be gathered around this horn playing and singing into that, and that's how they would record stuff. But, you know, it was pretty quiet. Microphones became a thing, and then suddenly they didn't even need that horn anymore. You could just have a microphone and then amplify it onto the disc. And then you could use electricity to amplify that signal. So, anyway, just that AIDA disc with my new cartridge. There's a violin piece here, really quiet in the background. That was not there, not audible at all in this old rip. I'm going to be completely honest, I didn't even know it was there, but it's actually there. Again, it's not great because it's never going to sound great, but it sounds so much better than it did. What else? What other discoveries did I make in my own collection? I have found what is now definitively the oldest record in my collection. I thought this AIDA one was older, and I looked it up, and it was recorded in 1912. But the copy that I have is a repress from 1922 or 24, somewhere in that range. It's from the early 1920s. This record, which is a song by Al Jolson, this is from 1916, and it is an original pressing. So this is now the oldest record I own. I got a letter from my sweetie today. This is actually the first record I played when I got the cartridge. Honey, how do you do? I've been true to you, though I am far, far away. Again, I'm not going to play that whole thing, just because A, it's a bit boring, and B, copyright. I'm trying to see. Oh, yeah. This is a later one. This one's definitely from either the 40s or early 50s. It was on MGM Records. It's partial because there was a chip at the start, and I put the needle down just after the chip and started from there. But I had to rip it because the song is called Gay Spirits. Happy Pride Month, everyone. Yeah. Makes me want to fuck another man. That's how it makes me feel. Yeah. Let's see. What else? This is another one of the oldest records that I have. It's from the early 20s, and it's on Victor Records. Most of the Victor records I have are on, very specifically, RCA Victor. I have a few that are just Victor before they started integrating the RCA branding into it. But this is the oldest one I have, and I think, when I looked it up, I think it's from like 1922, 23, somewhere around that range. And it's by the Irene West Royal Hawaiians. It's called Hilo Hawaiian March. Again, it doesn't sound great. It's basically just a song for... The thing that makes it Hawaiian is the lap steel guitars. It sounds like SpongeBob SquarePants background music. That's what it sounds like. Except it predates SpongeBob SquarePants by about 80 years. Hang on, I'm gonna double check on my phone when this was actually made. Real quick. (1926). I could tell it's old because I don't know why this is, but the older 78s have larger labels. My oldest record on Columbia has a larger label than pretty much all the other 10-inch records that I have. And even the 12-inch ones, they have smaller sized labels in the center of the disc. But it's actually closer to the size of a label you'd find on a 12-inch record from the 50s onwards. The oldest LP that I have is also a 10-inch LP, and it's from Decca Records, I think. And I think it was pressed in 1949. I have an album that's older, as in, like, it came out first, but it's a repress from, like, 1952 or something. So that would have been my oldest record. Because I think it originally came out in 1948 as an LP. 1948, I think, was the year the LP was even introduced, and they had 12-inch and 10-inch size records. Both of the earliest LPs I have are 10-inch, and they're from the late 40s, early 50s. But most of the 78s I have are 10-inch. I only have a couple 12 inches. I used to have another one when I was a kid, but I broke it by, and this is completely true, I broke it because I stuck a pencil into the spindle hole and tried to play it manually by spinning the pencil around and putting a sewing needle through a horn made of paper. That's how I broke it. It wasn't the horn that broke it, it was the pencil. It snapped clean in half and I threw it away. If I had done that now, I would have been upset, but at the same time, you can put them together and play them. I have done that before. If it breaks cleanly enough and doesn't create loads of, like, tiny shards, you can literally just put the pieces back together really tight and align them, and you can still get a play or two out of it. It's not going to sound great, and it's going to have a big every few seconds, but it'll still play. And I know that because some of the 78s that I have are cracked like that, and I was able to play them with this new cartridge. Anyway. Oh, by the way, this is my theme song now. It's by Les Paul, and it's called The Kangaroo, a.k.a. me. Yeah, hooray for Queen. Again, I won't play the whole thing, because I don't want to get a copyright strike or whatever. But yeah, this is my theme song now. Les Paul, it turns out, was actually a really cool guy. Not only did he invent, or basically invent, the solid body electric guitar, he was also a pioneer in multi-track recording. And this song is a perfect example of that. He's the only musician on this track, and he's just dubbing over himself over and over again. That became a staple of basically all recorded music. He was one of the first to do it. I mean, this song's from like the 50s, but he started doing that in the 40s. Because tape machines happened. What's this? Oh yeah, this is from that same 78 as the Hawaiian March thing. So it's just another thing for lap steel guitar. Wailana Waltz Drowsy Waters was the name of the piece. It kind of sounds like a, I don't know, Hawaiian lullaby. That's what it reminded me of. I don't remember what this is, but I brought it into audition for some reason. It's called Sequel. I guess it sounds alright. And then I forgot about this one. Oh, I'm sorry. I opened this not knowing what it was, and when I saw it, I couldn't stop laughing. It's just a spectrogram recording. It doesn't sound great. This is what it sounds like. But it's the principle of the thing. Well, this is another interesting one. I could use this again to compare the old way that I ripped records and the new way. Um, these are both the same song from the same disc. This one I ripped with the cartridge that came with my turntable before it broke. And this one I recorded just a few days ago with my new cartridge. And the song you will hopefully recognize. At least you'll recognize the melody. You'll notice that there's more of those like dropouts where it actually like briefly leaps a bit out of the groove because the tracking force wasn't high enough. That old cartridge was not rated for a very high tracking force. I think the highest you could go on that old one, the Audio Technica one, was like 2.5 grams. This new one I have is rated for at least 4.5 and as high as 5.5. And you need that heavy tracking force to play 78s. So, yeah, quick comparison. That's what it sounded like before. This is what it sounds like now. I forget who the vocalist was on this one. She sounds like Doris Day, but she's not Doris Day. Your kiss was such a sacred thing to me. I can't believe it's just a burning memory. Oh my god, she said it. She said that thing. You know what? Fuck it. I normally wouldn't indulge, but I feel like being generous. We're gonna give Harry James dementia. How do we do that? I think we slow down by 4 semitones, maybe. Four semitones ought to be enough. Yeah, that sounds good. And what do we do next? We had a little bit of reverb. Just a bit. I have a lot of reverb plugins. I think I'll use Layer. We can get a bit of a delay with this one as well. It depends entirely on the settings I choose. I just realized OBS isn't showing the effect window. That means I have to switch to the display capture. Layer is a good plugin. It's a reverb. This is like less reverb. This is more. And then we have width, mix it a bit down. And I'll turn down the modulation. And actually what I need to do is convert this to stereo before I keep working. There we go. Now we can get a bit more effect out of that sound. Bit of spatialization. Different forms of reverb here. Not sure which one to choose. I think if I want to go for that sort of stage 1 feel, that's it. It's like a very light coating. And then we have a slight amount of delay. A little bit of delay. I'll go with a tape delay. And just go with this. Repeat rate, I don't want it to be too intense, because otherwise it would go too deep into, like, stage 2, stage 3. I want stage 1. So... You can't see my face right now, but I have a big goofy smile because I'm legitimately just like, why does this sound good? I did this as a joke. This is what I go above and beyond for you people. There we go. I've caretakerized Harry James's version of Heartaches. I need to save this before I forget. What am I going to call it? I have a folder where I keep my new shit. I call it new shit. It's just a very jazzy memory. .flac. Save. There we go. Oh, and that's not the only 78 I have where the song on it, it's not the same recording, but like the same song was sampled by the Caretaker. This one's of a song called Moonlight Becomes You. The song, not this recording again, but the song was sampled in the Caretaker's song Von Restorff Effect, which is from Persistent Repetition of Phrases. I don't know who did the recording on the Caretaker's version. I could probably look that up right now on the Caretaker wiki, which exists. Here, let me switch back to Firefox. I am typing thing. Beep, there's the wiki. Moonlight Becomes You from Road to Morocco by Carol Gibbons and the Savoy Hotel Orpheans. Okay, interesting. That's from 1942. Most of the samples on this are from the 20s, but like the last three songs, the samples are from the 40s. I just kind of always thought that was interesting. I love the sample in Past Life Regression. That's a great one. Here's just what it sounds like. It's just this loop for like 4.5 minutes. It's very haunting, but at the same time, it's oddly beautiful. Oh, there's a quote here. I don't think I've noticed this before on his Bandcamp. The advantage of a bad memory is that one enjoys several times the same good things for the first time. Friedrich Nietzsche. I don't think I knew that was on his Bandcamp, but at the same time, it's been a long time. I was deeper into that whole community in like late 2020, 2021. I founded the VVM Discord server. I'm still on there, but I'm not in control of it anymore. You should join it. It is fun. If you like weird samples and if I'm being honest, like 13-year-olds who think they're like the funniest people ever. You win some, you lose some. Back to audition. Did I know I had more shit to talk about. Nah. Oh. And now we go back into linguistics. Oh, we also have the real archived voice of Dr. J.J. Jr. 1907. So, the story behind this, I made this as a joke, an inside joke, because me and some of my friends more than me, like, and you can still find this online. AI Sponge Rehydrated, which is, if you remember AI Sponge, it was SpongeBob, but the scripts were basically written by AI, and the voices were all just AI voices, and people would like submit prompts, and it was just like a thing. It was funny, and sometimes the voices would just start stuttering over and over and over again, and just completely fail at speech. If you've seen the recent influx of videos online about these unmanned WWE AI channels having a stroke, it was that same thing, but like 3 or 4 years ago. Anyway, Plankton and AI Sponge Rehydrated, which is a continuation of that original concept, could not say abbreviations. If you gave him the words Dr. Jr., he would immediately just start glitching and distorting, and it was amazing. Because it was funny. For some reason, I've always been fascinated by, not AI, but very specifically, AI going wrong. And this is that. This is just a recording of the Plankton voice failing miserably at saying things. I added vibrato to it, and then I added isotope vinyl to it to make it sound like an unearthed recording, like a wax cylinder from the early 1900s. That's what it sounds like. Oh, and also, here's a recording of people saying various words in Xhosa, which is a language spoken in South Africa. Here, let us hear those words.
28. Umamkhulu.
Umamkhulu.
Umamkhulu. Umamkhulu.
I downloaded this like last year from, I had to look it up. Where is it? It was the UCLA Phonetics Lab archive. And here they have the actual list of the words they're speaking. It was recorded in 1979 just as a reference. So they have a recording of how native speakers speak the language. And I think that's really cool. But, like, yeah, I have this for some reason.
29. Khekri.
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 Khekri. 30. Nya.
Nya.
Nya. Nya. Nya. 31. Nyani.
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 Nyani. 32. Khoko.
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 Khoko. 33. Umamkhulu.
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 The MH is like a slack voice.
34. Khuku.
Khoko.
Khoko.
Khuku. 35. Nyani.
Nyani.
Nyani. Nyani.
These are two different words.
36.
You must know the difference.
Bonga.
Bonga.
Bonga. Bonga.
Bonga.
37. Buku.
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 Buku. 38. Ulowo.
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 Ulowo. 39. Bonga.
And it goes on. It's pretty interesting. But they have recordings like that. Not always with the people like saying it multiple times, but for many languages, including Quants, which we have. I've talked about Quants before. It is one of the most interesting languages on the planet, and I think it has the largest phonemic inventory of any language on the planet. Like, as in, it has the largest number of sounds. And a lot of those are click consonants. So, da, etc. Actually, you know what I'm going to do, because I haven't done it in a little bit, is change my avatar. Here, you know what? I think today I will be a fox. Eh. I like being fox. I should put up the window capture again. There we are. So we have recordings of people speaking Quants.
Any wind signal there?
Na in na na
That's it, Peter.
Okay, that's interesting, I guess. Conversation 1979.
Kaba
Dialect unspecified. But we have a TIFF file.
Wait. Do that again. Sorry.
Recording details.
Camel thorn tree.
hãy là cái ta gạt về tới qua thầm lu phác hậu ta ăn nó qua đi tu đây cả ba cả thay sẽ lại đi
Okay,
thay
that's...
đi anh đã ai đi cái sang làm cho phần lưu quả về gì cái thay cho sự tuần người cái quả khoan về bí về gì.
See, I find that really interesting, honestly. It's just two people talking to each other, but I like the fact that we have recordings of this. Because languages like this need documenting. And I think that's a very important thing. And it's been going on since the 70s, at least. Because the earliest recording on here is from 1972.
So, Borokau asked Asa whether he no longer approved of hunting when he felt hungry, and whether he was now a white man or Bantu buying food and not hunting for it. Asa became angry with them and told them to go and hunt. He was the one who would see money, not them idiots that they were. So he went off to the waterhole where the young springbuck
72.
was. They went to the wildebeest and picked up their tracks at the Bantu village, and when they saw them, shot a large bull.
Okay, who's this guy? I need to see the details of the recording, which they thankfully provide. Creative Commons, which is great. Speaker origin unknown. He has a bit of a South African accent. Like English South African, not like Afrikaans South African. And there he is speaking the language. That's cool, but at the same time, it's like I kind of find it weird that it's not like that it's definitely a white guy. That's all I can say is that it's definitely a white guy. Oh, I was just listening to this one. Again, like largest phonemic inventory of any language on the planet. Languages currently available. Please note that languages beginning with exclamation mark are classified according to their second letter, so that Quants may be found under X. The site is made possible with funds provided by the National Science Foundation. What's a cool language? That's a cool language. I'm gonna play the music again. Have that be in the background. We have Hausa, Hawaiian, Hebrew, Hindi, Hua. I'm not even really sure what this is, but I guess we will learn.
The 27th of June 1979, and this is a recording of Eastern Quants taken at Sia in
I
the...
know what that is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Setswana gloss.
Yeah.
Down.
Down. Down.
Down.
Down.
Interesting. I find lots of things interesting. In my life, I have seen things, and I find the things that I see interesting sometimes. We have Dutch. Actually, no, Danish. Fun fact, Danish is not real. Here's
The purpose
proof.
of this recording will be to show the phonemic contrasts in Danish. My informant is, and he was raised in Copenhagen, Denmark. He will be reading each line, which is numbered, consecutively, and each word will be repeated 2 times. The first page will be on the vowels. Okay, number 1.
Bide, liter, liter.
Number 2.
Mere, fit,
Number 3.
bære, let,
Number 4.
byde, høne.
Now the next page will be on the diphthongs. Number 1,
Higher. Higher.
2,
Higher. Higher.
3,
How. How.
4,
Low.
Continuous
Low.
speech, no gloss.
Lært. Lært. Og den anden lov.
Number 3,
Med. Med en lille dreng.
number 4,
Okay, that one's just kind of boring. I mean, I get this is an academic website, but still. Plus, if I wanted to just find more casual recordings, I could just go on Wikitongues. I could do that right now. Wikitongues is cool because they do language archiving like this. Yeah, they have a YouTube channel. These are some of the more popular videos. This guy's speaking Welsh, this lady speaking Gullah, this person speaking Guarani, and this person speaking Esperanto. As a native speaker, not just like speaking Esperanto, but speaking it as a native speaker of Esperanto. Which is a concept I kind of find weird. Just the fact that there are native speakers of Esperanto. They should create their own country and call it I don't know. Yeah. This is fun. Am I a fun? I hope so. Oh, and also number stations still exist. I have this page up, but I haven't been looking at it. Yeah. I kind of just want to be a silly right now. So I think I will be a silly. Yeah. This is me. I am a silly friend. Fun fact, you can give me hugs if you want. Yeah. I like hugs. And I think that I am a huggable friend. I wonder what... Sorry. Oh my god, is it purple? Is this a friend? Is this a friend? Can I talk to this friend? What? Okay, go away. There it goes. Bye-bye. Yeah. We did it. I am the friend. And I am a fun friend. Give me 1 second. I am sorry, but there was a friend who needed attending to. She's okay now. Yeah. You know what? I am kind of getting bored. I talked about a lot of things today. And perhaps some of that was enjoyable to you. But perhaps some of it wasn't. Again, I keep saying this for some reason, but you know, you win some, you lose some. And it'll be a little bit of a process to get back into the swing of things. But I'm feeling a little tired now, so I think I will sign off for the day. This evening, I mean, because it is almost 10 p.m. and I've been live for an hour and a half. That's a good amount of time for me. Thank you for watching, and thank you for listening to me talk about how much I like talking. And if you like what I do, you can feel free to give me some money on Ko-fi, because I need some. You can do that if you like what I do. Yeah. And if you don't, then I will send Egbert to your house. Do you think this is a bluff? Here he goes. Give me money, or else Egbert will come to your house. I don't know what he'll do when he gets there, but he'll come to your house. And you will probably not like it. There he goes. Fuck off, Egbert. Okay. I think I go now. Thank you for watching. You are all a good friends, and I hope that you see me as a friend. Yeah. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.